Road to Worlds, Week 7, weekly recap coming at you. Last week, in case you missed it, we locked in our CC and our LL deck. We're playing Aurora and Living Legend. We're playing Cindra and CC, and we're going to see what we can do. We got Week 7 data to talk about. We got ProQuest data to talk about. So I hope you're ready for an action-packed episode. Tonight's going to be fun. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. All right, let's dive right in and let's take a look. Week 7 for Cindra. We played 33 games. We saw a 1.3% increase up to 69.7. We are just under that 70% threshold for Cindra where we want to be. Things are feeling good. I'm starting to iron out matchups. We're testing a few different things. We're going to talk about some cards later in the video. So things are really starting to come together with the Cindra deck, and I'm feeling really comfortable with it. Getting in a good number of games on a week-to-week basis. Moving up in numbers feels great. You absolutely love to see it. As we look at the total win percentage with Cindra, we are at a total win percentage of 69.2% across a ton of games. We have an 81% win rate into Florian, continues to be our best matchup. One of our worst matchups continues to be the Kasai matchup. We are at a 50% win rate. To be fair, if our worst win rate is 50%, that's going to be pretty good for us. At the pro level, obviously, it's going to be a little bit different than some Talishar data, but Kasai looks to be our worst matchup. Two other meta-relevant matchups that I wanted to talk about are Gravy and Verdance. I currently have a 71% win rate into Gravy. That's across ProQuest, Talishar, everything. And I have a 55% win rate into Verdance. So I wish my Verdance win rate was a little bit higher, but both my win rates into a lot of the bigger heroes and the more popular heroes are looking pretty good. I didn't get my win percentage against Cindra, but I think I've only lost a couple of Cindra matchups, like the Mirror. I'm winning majority of those. Like I think I'm like 6-2 or 7-2 into the Mirror. Aggro Mirrors just feel very comfortable to me. So overall, Cindra feels very, very comfortable, and I feel like we're in a really, really good spot as we wrap up Week 7. As we start looking to LL for Aurora, we did drop almost 8.5% in our win percentage this week from 65 to 57. Dropping down 8% is not a great place to be. I will say this past week was a lot of theory crafting, me testing, moving cards around and changing things. So to see the win percentage drop is not the end of the world. Although it doesn't feel great, it's not the end of the world because I was theory crafting and trying a lot of different things this week. So we're going to hope to like really wrap that up and like make sure that our deck feels good and start getting into a better win percentage as we move into Week 8. With the Aurora deck in total, we are a 63.2% win rate. We actually have a 70% win rate into Marlin. Right now, my worst matchup is Starvo. I am at 40%. I went 4-10 into Starvo, or I'm sorry, 4-6 for 10 total games into Starvo. I am looking to try and get that number up. I have now settled on a sideboard plan, and I have a metric for where I feel like the games need to be. My metric so far has been that we're probably going to play on average an 8 to 10 turn game against Starvo. We need them to fuse 3 times or less throughout the course of the game, and we need them to see 1 or 0 channel Lake Fridges get put into play. So those are kind of the metrics that we're looking for. That's one of some of the biggest things that hurt us a lot. So that's what we're trying to dodge. I'm also going to say that into Viserai, I have a 64% win rate. And into Dio, which has gotten a lot of popularity over the last couple weeks, I'm at 58%. Now, the crazy combo Dio deck does get disrupted pretty well by some of the sideboard tech we're going to talk about that I have in my Aurora deck. But we're trying to like shore up some popular matchups. I did put Marlin on here as our best matchup win percentage because that deck has gained a lot of popularity. Now, it's only 3 rounds of LL, so we might not play any Marlin matchups. But that is a matchup that I'm feeling pretty comfortable into in total, which feels pretty nice. So to feel pretty good into a lot of the meta decks feels like a pretty good place. And truth be told, if I can get Starvo to 50-50, that's exactly where I want to be. Now let's talk about some of our ProQuest data here as we continue talking about things. I'm going to take this down here. I had a sticky note hanging up on my monitor for something when I was streaming. We had one ProQuest this weekend. I played Cindra and CC. I did end up winning the ProQuest. This was at Star City Games. There was 16 people there, so we had 5 rounds cut the top 4. Round 1, I played against Merrick Kemp playing Max, and I ended up getting that win. I played against Cindra round 2, where I ended up getting the win there. I lost to Verdance in a very, very close game in round 3. Round 4, I beat a Florian who played one felling all game, I'm pretty sure. It was just a really, really bad draw for my buddy, who just did not have a good game, really. And then I lost to Acilio in round 5. I ended up getting into the top 4 cut as the 4th seed. So I played against my boy Sam from the Breakpoints podcast, who was playing Gravy Bones. I did get a win against him. Sam was absolutely dominating me in our game. He was up like 15 points, and he drew 14 cards in a row, did not hit a single ally. And so all of his pressure went away over the course of like one turn, put me in the driver's seat, and I was winning all of a sudden. And then in the finals, I ended up beating a Verdance to be able to take home the whole thing, which felt really nice. Parched Terrain felt really, really good over the course of the weekend. That is a card that has continued to impress me. The Verdance game was actually also like crazy. Like, it was a wild ending. I went down to 6, and my opponent and I waited 4 turns for them to draw a Burn Bear because all of the Light Up the Leaves were out of their deck already. Well, it turns out that they had forgot to sideboard in 3 copies of Burn Bear, and they were only playing 57 cards into me. So they presented an illegal deck. I ended up winning the game anyway, so it worked out well. But winning that Verdance matchup felt really, really good. So taking down a ProQuest means that we do not have a 4th ProQuest data to talk about. Winning on Cindra just kind of brought the whole thing together. It did teach me there's a couple of things that we need to change about the deck, and we're going to talk about some of the different cards that we're cutting or adding from our CC deck and from our LL deck to try and make sure that we are prepared as possible coming into Philly weekend after next. We've got a couple of Cindra cards we're going to talk about, and we've got one Aurora card that I'm going to talk about. First up, let's do Cindra. Warmonger's Diplomacy has made its way into my sideboard over Enlightened Strike. That is because Warmonger's Diplomacy has a really good, can be a very powerful effect into Kasai. It can be really good into Marlin. It can also be really good into Gravy Bones. So having it kind of like an extra chain ender, a way to slow down some of these decks that we need points into, can go a long way for us. I'm also on a build that is now just playing Mask of Momentum. I think that cutting Mask of the Pouncing Lynx without a build that is like tailored to make it work is just better to be on straight Mask of Momentum. And the reasoning for that is that I was not playing like Salt the Wound or Tenacity or anything that had a ton of impact off of Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. I was just playing a 3rd Lava Burst. So I've decided that I would rather not have as many Chain Enders in my main deck. We're now playing 3 copies of Pain in the backside in the main deck, and we're trying to make Mask of Momentum more consistent. We're trying to take away agency from other decks by forcing them into blocking. Cutting the Mask of the Pouncing Lynx opened up a 3rd Breaking Point sideboard slot. So now when we're playing against other like aggro decks or other disruptive decks, and we need that extra piece, that extra Chain Ender, we're able to bring in Breaking Points as well from the sideboard, which works out really, really well for us. So adding Warmongers, being on Mask of Momentum only, I think shores up a lot of matchups, and we're trying to take away some of the agency from some of the other decks, other heroes that we're going to play against, when like Mask of the Pouncing Lynx lets them block when they want to, and now Mask of Momentum is forcing them to block at all times against us the entire game. For the Aurora card that I want to talk about Chains of Imminence. Chains of Imminence has shown some really good impact into the Dash.io matchup. Being able to name like Cerebellum Processor or being able to name High Octane against that combo Dash setup deck is really, really impactful, and it can do some really cool stuff. It really slows them down. Against Zen, another aggro deck, you're able to name like Inner Chi. So when they go to like Transcend, they can't they can't pitch their card. They can't do anything crazy. You're just able to slow down a lot of these decks and really put them in an awkward position. This extra disruptive tool just fits into the sideboard so well as a 0-cost non-attack action. So it's felt really good, and I think it's helping me in a lot of these other matchups where we have potential to just get absolutely steamrolled or high-rolled out of nowhere, and taking that off the board is a really big win for Aurora and Living Legend. Guys, as always, if you got questions, comments, concerns, you disagree with something, throw it in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.